through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
Too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
It's been a scenario set up in the Mojave Desert all on the West Coast as of late, with Daytona starting off the season with a 500-mile race, Auto Club Phoenix, and now live here for week number 4. Here it is on VSPEED. Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors is live in Las Vegas. Welcome in, everybody. I am your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Connor Horn all season long, with our camera packs provided by Dougie Beard. Connor, this racetrack is going to be loose. There's a new build on the B car. Take us through what you think this race is going to be.
I think we might see some chaos compared to what we've seen in most previous Las Vegas races. Don't really know what the aero updates are going to do to the car. We don't know if it's going to make it harder to pass, easier to pass. You might be able to get someone aero loose. We really don't know what to expect yet, because really neither of us have seen the racing with this car quite yet with the new updates that happened this past Tuesday. So it's going to be an interesting race, one we've never seen at Las Vegas. This mile-and-a-half racetrack has seen a lot of action, and it's seen a lot of track position matter no matter what car has come here at Las Vegas the past 5 seasons. The pole sitters won this race 4 out of 5 times we've been here. The track, which is kind of notorious for having multi-group racing and a lot of passing, the pole matters a lot. So that driver on pole probably the favorite by default, but should be interesting to see how the cars react in dirty air and stuff like that tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited for it as well. And 102 degrees the track temperature here this evening, so that'll make it even more interesting. 140 laps, 50 miles per hour on pit road speed. 5 tire sets over the wall, 1 on the car, 3 green-white checkered attempts, 100% fuel with the iRacing fixed setup. And we'll take a look at the points. And while we cover that part of the race, there's somebody we're going to have to talk to. Caleb Weekly, 2 points ahead here. After a penalty to Bailey Turner, you have Jeff Wright 4 points, 2 points back, actually tied for that second or the third position. Seth Hatchell 11 points back, and you're watching the Daytona 500 winner there, the SNR 500 back to 11th. Andy Talganoff taking a little hiatus here. We got Chris Hodges in 12th, all the way back to Brandon Wallace in 20th.
Yeah, and only 55 points separating those top 20. So still early in the season. Phoenix was kind of our first mostly real racetrack. One of our first real racetracks. And we went to Auto Club the week before, but technically that's not a real racetrack either. But this is going to be the first pure mile and a half we've gone to, so it'll be an interesting test.
Time to take you trackside. Get the grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole with a 30.591. It's going to be the 09. You said it. Statistically, the pole sitter 4 out of 5 times wins this race. Let's see if Chad Klinger can get it done here at Vegas. Justin Michael will start to the outside of the pole with Dakota Floyd and Nathan Ferrata going to start in row number 2. Then you have 5th position with Derek Garrison and Philip Brewer in the 44. Jeff Wright will start in 7th spot. Adam Cabot will start in 8th. And rounding out your top 10 is J.R. Shepard, Noah Mahalski in the 03.
AJ Stravato starts 11th. He's had great runs to start the season, just hasn't been able to seal the deal. Case Licata's good qualifying effort starts 12th. Andrew Horonis, who's in a Supra this week, I believe that's a change. He starts 13th. Seth Hatchell, one of the few drivers, top 10 in all 3 races so far, starts 14th. Chuck Sweeting in that 15th position. New paint scheme on that 75 car this week with James Lehman, who had a rough race. Didn't really have a race last week, starts 16th. Ryan Carwile, who got turned late by Bailey Turner, starts 17th. Caleb Weekly, series points leader. We'll talk to him in a little bit. He starts 18th. And rounding out the top half of the field, Kenny Kibbe, still not quite qualifying well enough. He starts 19th, runner-up in the title last season. And Max Cost still looking for victory number 1 in 20th.
Joshua Banks will start in 21st. Banks in the iRacer. Reggie Ortega will start 22nd. Then you have Elliott Butler and Logan Threlkel making an appearance here tonight in the number 12 and 24th. Ray Massey and Brian Chambliss back here in row 13. Then you have Justin Ritchie and Bailey Turner deep in this field, 30.880. A little bit off here on the pace. Austin Belke and Brandon Wallace will round out your top 30 with 6 more cars. Broderick Back-Lavick, Keith Shoemaker. Then you have Michael Jones, Stephen Davis, and Rob Hamp, Bryce Shoemaker. Everyone electing actually 42 cars on this racetrack tonight. I lied to you. Ben Lafter, Elvin Stewart. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I thought we had 36 and my grid was broken. So, yeah, there's the 2 last cars on the grid here tonight with Tim Shanoski. I was like, man, nobody ever actually qualifies full field. That's never happened here. Something's not right. But while we have a moment here, let's pull the driver of the number 13 up here into the broadcast booth and talk to Caleb Weekly in the number 13. Caleb Weekly, it's Bradley Cooper, Connor Horn. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy, Bradley.
Starting a little deep in this field, a little bit of mid-pack, I would say, but not going to hurt you too bad. It's up towards the front, and you're the points leader coming into tonight, so how confident are you here to roll the dice?
Oh, it's going to be really difficult. I have 2 of the best SNR racers behind me in points, Jeff and Bailey. We're going to need to really focus on where we are to end the race and not necessarily at the beginning, because it's going to be a long uphill battle from starting in 18th. Good news is Bailey is starting pretty deep in this field, so hopefully we'll walk out of here still the points leader. That's the goal.
Well, Caleb, I know coming into this one, you got a lot riding on it, the new car build. Can you tell us a little bit about how the handling was and how you think, opinion-wise, this thing's going to go?
Yeah, this thing's a handful just handling-wise, driving it. But the draft is also a lot bigger deal here. You're going to see more draft in these cars than you have before, and you're going to see a lot more dirty air. So I'd say expect some tighter racing in the first 20 to 30 laps of this. And I think it's going to be an interesting new challenge for a lot of these drivers. So hopefully it ends up our way tonight, but these things are pretty fun to drive.
Oh, before we drop you down there, 1 to go coming up. Anybody you want to shout out real quick, Caleb?
Grandma Weekly, I hope you're watching this live. We're the points leader. And then FireStorm and the admins, I think SNR is in a great spot, and it's all thanks to them.
Caleb Weekly, points leader coming in, starting in 18th. Good luck.
Thanks, Bradley.
Back to FireStorm Racing with the 13, and Jack Klinger going to lead him into turn 1. The lights are out on the pace car, electing to start on the outside. So a lot of drivers, we mentioned that last week, that a lot of people didn't know that they could do that, and it looks like Jack Klinger was well aware.
Finally, I mean, goodness, it's about time. How many times in this series, not just this series, we even saw it in VRX together, how many times the pole sitter on the inside would not get the lead off of turn 2 because that outside lane gets such a big run? Picking the outside matters. You still got to get a good jump. It's on green for the initial start, but it seems like a no-brainer that, you know, the pole sitter would take the outside, get that run off of 2. But Chad Klinger's, I think, he's probably the first to do it in series history.
So there you go, history being made.
Can't fact check that, but
well, I think we can. We'd have to watch a lot of broadcasts.
You only have 7 days to do it.
Yeah, that's a lot of watching. I like VSPEED, but I don't know if I could rewatch 5 seasons of SNR. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and review it. Here we go for week number 5, though, with Chad Klinger, 140 laps. He's going to try to lead the first one with Justin Michael on the inside. Green flag is out. We're live at racing, presented by M&J Distributors. Well, you said that, and then Justin Michael took the lead away.
Well, back to the drawing board, I suppose. He just didn't get, Justin Michael just got a really good start. He kind of side drafted him into 1, and it's pretty much full throttle through 1 and 2. So back to the drawing board for my ideas. And once again, the pole sitter does not lead the first lap. It goes to Justin Michael. Remember, he won the pole at Auto Club and had an early exit to that race. So he's trying to redeem himself after that one. But we're seeing 2-3 wide already. Cars are low at track, and really the first test for this new model, new aero model, I should say.
Saw the 3 wide there with Adam Cabot. Jeff Wright took it to the bottom of the racetrack. Jeff Wright has already gained 3 positions in just 2 laps and looking to gain a 4th one. So race side by side with Dakota Floyd for that top 3.
Yeah, Dakota Floyd, him side by side, just barely for that 4th position. Klinger kind of struggling, not getting through the corners while he saw him wash up the racetrack big time there, and he was in relatively clean air that time, so that was kind of surprising. That might have just been the setup, but already seeing kind of 2 distinct lanes, bottom 1 and 2, and you kind of seeing some drivers run bottom 3 and 4. Parada's trying to diamond, enter high, exit low. We're already seeing some drivers try to avoid the dirty air.
And it's a little bit of a split off here for the top 13. Seth Hatchell side by side. Casey Lakatos, James Lehman have all broke away from Angelo Horonis. It's about a full half second to watch the 29 come off of turn 2.
He's kind of on his own. He might be in the best spot besides for the race leader, as Chambliss has a little wiggle in the back, kept it straight. But one thing that Caleb Weekly did touch on, the draft is pretty important. So that's something that some drivers are going to have to be aware of, is that draft matters. So keeping your momentum up out of the corner is going to matter a lot. Getting that run out of the corner, whether you're running the top side or just launching off the bottom really well, keeping momentum, just like in almost every car we seem to cover, it matters a lot.
Watching on board here with Reggie Ortega, running side by side with the 14 of Kenny Kibbe. And I watched a little bit of practice there in Banksy the iRacer stream to try to get an understanding of how this car was going to handle tonight. I'm going to quote the 35. I'm loose. He screamed that several times in that stream.
Justin Michael's loose. They just doored for the race lead. Farada got it for just a moment, but Jeff Wright's about to pass both of them. I do not think Michael appreciated the 77 kind of dooring the 87 up the track. It's going to open a door for the 2-time champion to maybe take the lead, as we saw it a little late, but they both got out of shape. Jeff Wright got a run. Talked about it. Momentum, very important to keep it up. If you lose it, that driver in behind is going to get a huge run.
There's the door check on the 87 going into the entry at turn 1. Back to the live shot, though. It's Farada who benefits from it the most as a single file out.
single file as we might get, at least at the front for the time being. Top 7 or 8 single file. First real battle is Dakota Floyd and Chad Klinger, which is actually for that 5th spot, so not 7 cars side by side, or single file I should say, but we're seeing a lot of drivers wash up out of the corner, whether it's dirty air or just general handling. That's seemed to have been the trouble spot is corner exit not only in 4 but in turn 2. We're kind of used to having a tight car in turn 3. It's so hard to get the nose pointed down to the bottom to the white line in turn number 3. A little easier in 1 and 2 usually, but it still seems tough.
And I feel like this is a battle worth watching for a moment. Oh, Caleb Weekly around.
Oh, huge hit, Ray Massey.
And I think Weekly's okay. I don't think he picked up much damage from that.
Yeah, Weekly may be able to continue. Ray Massey's day is done. Sounded like Weekly said his screen froze. Kind of looked like, oh man. Massey didn't get the brakes applied at all, just slammed the inside wall. It looked like, you know, Weekly hit the wall and then kind of went straight down the track, didn't really ever try to correct it, which I guess would support his screen freeze, but dang, he just never, the 23 never slowed down. Nothing he could do. Oh, wall comes up in a hurry. Gosh, he slammed it. Just missed the tire barrier that's down there in that opening. Jeff Gordon hit 18 years ago.
You say it like that. What am I?
Tell me. Ooh, pit stops? Seems a little early. Yeah, I was about to say, oh, here comes Chad Klinger. That's a little early. He's a lonely man.
Again, weather on this racetrack is going to continue to heat up. We started around 105 degrees, 109 now. It's going to fluctuate back and forth, but I would venture to say by the end of this, we'll be in the 110, if not higher.
We'll see if maybe topping off on fuel makes a difference. Actually, looks like Bailey Turner pit as well from about 22nd. Klinger takes tires, Turner's taking tires, and pretty much everyone outside the top 30 came down the pit, so most everyone deciding to save a set, stay out. Trying to think, we do have, I believe, 5 extra sets in the pits, so plenty to work with. And thankfully for Caleb Weekly, in his case at least, he has time to repair this car and probably get it back to 100%, still compete in this race. But unfortunately, Ray Massey does not get the same luxury.
So the way it's set up right now, Anthony Ferrata is your leader with Justin Michael, who started outside the pole, remaining in the 2nd spot. But the rest of the top 5s kind of changed hands. Jeff Wright worked his way up there 4 spots. Adam Cabot, just behind in the 17, has worked up 4. Derek Garrison in the 11, who stayed in 5th.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Derek Garrison's made a start this season. I don't believe he has. I feel like he has made starts prior in this series, but I believe it's his first start of the season. Good qualifying effort, and it's run pretty solidly so far. Very early. You only got about 8 green flag laps, but a good qualifying effort goes a long way in this series.
Watching there with your points leader, who got spun on the backstretch. Looks like the 13 is going to loop back around the racetrack. Not sure if he got 100% of that damage fixed. See if we can get a better look at it here. Looks pretty good.
Just confirmed, Derek Garrison's made 7 career starts in Saturday night's Cup Series. His last was December of 2024 in this type of car. 2 top 10s, and last race it was at New Hampshire. He finished 14th, so return to the series. Maybe he'll run more, but good start to the night for him. Looks like Chad Klinger actually ended up topping off on fuel, as did a bunch of others, so as did Bailey Turner. So that kind of tells me that maybe they think they can make it on 1 less stop than drivers who did not pit. Don't know if we get to that point, but something to note.
Well, if any metric we have here, you're the guy that's always looking at the stats. We've had really clean races up until about 20 laps to go.
And at least at this track, it's kind of been over the board. We've never gone caution-free here, but we've had as little yellows as 3, but as many as 9, which was last season.
Let's see if Ferrata can hold on to the lead. He has Jeff Wright hungry behind him, the outside row with Cabot back underway for the second time. They'll look 3 wide here into 1. Cabot peeks the nose in there for second spot. Thought the 17 was going to take him there.
Just couldn't quite get the run to do it, but Ferrata, really good jump on the restart, got clean and away, and it's a mess in behind him, 2 by 2, in at least 9 or 10 different rows. We're going to see 2, 3 wide, and then turn 3 and 4 before it's all sorted out. So they are 3 wide now for second.
There's Cabot to the inside. A lot of cars moving around as a battle for the lead brews up. Justin Michael, maybe he gives the door back to Ferrata. He will not, at least not in the entry. But he's going to use that car for all it's worth off the exit of 2. There's the door touch.
Well, that's 2. I mean, Ferrata got away with 1, but Justin Michael's probably not going to put up with having that a second time. There's no doubt. I think the 87 probably ran middle, kind of to say, hey, Nate, you're going to do that, I'm going to do that. But then 07 or 77 just kind of got sideways off the corner. But I don't think Justin Michael put up with that much.
He's going to drive him hard here into the entry of 1. And the aero griefing on this car, it's probably 10 times worse than it used to be. We said the draft was heavy. Well, it's also getting up on that back bumper. We've seen it in the ARCA car. We're going to see it here in the B car now.
Not as hard, not as easy to do in the ARCA car. It almost doesn't, it's kind of faint in the ARCA car. We know in the Cup car it shouldn't be like that, but the Cup car is definitely the worst. Trucks are kind of similar to that as well, where you can kind of aero pack in that left rear. Really haven't seen an instance where we've seen that quite yet. I think it might take getting a little more spread out to maybe see it, but haven't quite seen anyone get real close to the bumpers quite yet.
And that's the other side of the aero griefing, is that if you're in the dirty air, it's hard to stay with that driver. On clean, fresh tires, yeah, probably could go up there and drive, but these guys have a heat cycle on it now. 15 laps complete, and the 87 brushes the wall coming off of 4.
Yeah, it's the risk versus reward. You can aero pack that driver, try to get on their left rear, but if you don't get it just right, you're going to be in all that dirty air, get tight, push up the racetrack, lose some time. So you'd almost just rather kind of just search for clean air on the top or bottom, wherever the leader doesn't go. And that's what Justin Michael's trying to do right now, is they're 3 wide for about the 10th spot.
No, Mahalski on the inside, Philip Brewer in the middle, and Casey Lakatos on the outside. We're going to do it again here through 3 and 4.
Neither driver's giving up. Lakatos is going to get the run around that outside. We should see that high side come in a little bit more later in this race, especially if clean air becomes more important as they contact. Banks came up off the apron toward Mahalski, but they kept it straight.
Close call there for Banksy. Probably didn't appreciate that move from Mahalski.
Well, it was Banks who kind of went down there on his own, went to the apron and expected that room up. Mahalski hadn't tracked out yet, so they just kind of met in the middle.
Yeah, there was a car to the outside. You get that run, now losing some spots. Back to the drawing board. Joshua Banks riding in 14th position right now. Just had Seth Hatchell go by on the outside, and they're going to peak 3 wide again.
And we talked about it last week as well. It just really hasn't been the start of a season Joshua Banks has needed, let alone wanted. Still sitting tied for 22nd in points, no top 10s on the season to start out. He's had, a horrible race at Auto Club, ended up wrecked at Phoenix, but Phoenix was still his best finish of 18th, and he just needs to get something going. This could be a track where he does it.
Bailey Turner topped off with fuel last time by. The 09 of Klinger actually took 4 tires. So we talked about some drivers that came down pit road. A few of them took 4, but Bailey Turner just topped off, and he's going to take it 3 wide for the top 10.
I believe Turner topped off when coming to 2 to green. I do believe he took tires, though, so he will have fresh tires on that car. But Klinger actually came down, got an extra lap of fuel. That's why he's about... Oh, they're crashing with Chad Klinger. Chuck Sweeting, Elliott Butler, they're sliding. Everyone somehow saved it back there. I can't believe they didn't crash. Oh, my gosh. I don't know who caused it, but somehow there was like 5 cars sliding out of turn 4, and they did not crash.
Here's another look at it from the blimp camera.
Jeff Wright's up to second. Just pulled a slider on Justin Michael. Right Right there. Klinger gets into the right rear. Butler, he slides. Sweeting slides. The 9 slid. I think Eldon Stewart, they all went sliding and they all saved it. That was crazy. Hey, when everyone's sliding, there is no grip even early on with mostly fresh tires for all these drivers. Everyone is struggling for grip out of the corner right now.
And peeking 3 wide, there's J.R. Shepard on the inside. And how well he did at the end of Season 5 was one of the playoff contenders, well, chase contenders there. Definitely had a chance at the championship. I say playoff because it was really eliminated down to just a couple drivers there with 2 weeks to go. But mathematically, he had a chance all the way through to the end.
I gotta say, one thing I was not expecting, maybe it's part of the aero update, making the tires matter a little bit more, but Bailey Turner restarted in about the 36th position. Look where he is. He's all the way into the top 5 already. He's running laps multiple tenths quicker than anyone in the field. Those tires are working, and I'm shocked that it's that big of a difference.
Raced his way up through to the 4th spot, chasing down Adam Cabot.
Did you see that? That was actually a great example of the dirty air. 33, maybe he was pulling a slide job on the 87, but it almost looked like the 24 chopped his nose. Just all of a sudden, it washed right up the racetrack. Once again, he might have been just trying to clear the 87, but it almost looked like it could have been a dirty air issue.
Riding on board with AJ Stravato in the 33, riding in that 5th position. Has the 87 of Justin Michael all over the back bumper. You can see there in the mirror. I just wonder if we can get an example of that as Bailey Turner will pass for the 3rd spot. He'll go by Adam Cabot.
If dirty air matters, the tires matter more, for sure. I mean, we've seen, that was 9-lap difference on tires, and he's driven through the entire field, and he's going to be leading this race in about, at least, at most 5 laps. I mean, that's incredible how big of a difference it's made.
Next one in line. Averaged out to about 1 car per lap for the 24. We'll look to the inside of the 48. Not going to get it this time. Good run off of the exit of turn 2 for Jeff Wright. Holding pace with Ferrata. Another stab, another attempt here into 3.
Jeff Wright's not going to want to give that track position up very easily. He's going to try to wear out Turner's tires a little bit, try to even them out maybe a little bit. Oh, there's a crash out of turn 4 this time. 11's in it. Joshua Banks is in it. Chad Klinger, Carwell get through. And that is the 11, Derek Garrison, we were talking about.
Looks like the 57 of Dakota Floyd involved as well.
I was about to mention they were racing really hard for the 10th position. This is not what those guys who took tires wanted to see because they're probably going to have to save a set here. And it looks like kind of a 3-wide squeeze. 11 tried to come up like he was too wide, and Floyd was trying to give room to Mahalski on the outside as like Chuck Sweeting got a piece of that at the end on the 35. But this looked like a squeeze to be outside.
On board one more time here with Dakota Floyd.
I don't think anyone got too bad of damage through this. So you got Banks on his outside. He's also got Mahalski on his right rear, so he's trying to give him room to his outside, but the 11, I don't think he thinks Floyd is there and just comes up. Kind of causes a chain reaction, turns him into the 35. That was a good drift by Carwell getting through it, but honestly that could have been a lot worse. I don't think many drivers got too big a damage in that.
We're going to take a quick break here on VSPEED. You are watching the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. Caution flag is out here on lap 27. More coverage will continue right after this.
Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
is too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time, so I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Welcome back here live as we went back racing on lap 29 on to lap 30 and now 31. Jeff Wright took the lead from Nathan Ferrata on pit road, in and out of his box about 0.5 seconds faster than the 77. And it's Bailey Turner who's raced his way up to the top three, but Bailey was on a little bit different strategy on tires to race his way up there. Now he's even
on tires, but down a set of tires because he elected to take that second set. He should still have, I believe, 3 left, which should be plenty, but if the yellows fall wrong, it could go wrong for the 24, but we're starting to see kind of some aero games being played a little bit. Jeff Wright kind of chased Ferrata up the track, and that was kind of interesting. It almost looked like the 48 kind of committed to the bottom, but when he saw Ferrata go to the middle, he kind of stopped his entry to the corner. So aero game still being played. You don't want someone on your door, seemingly, as they both got sideways. That was Philip Brewer getting loose on the inside to Justin Michael. So that seems more realistic. When someone's right on your door in one of these O'Reilly Series cars, that can happen very easily, suck you around just so very quickly, and it's so hard to control that.
Now Kibbe will get to the outside. Philip Brewer continuing to hemorrhage positions. He's fallen back to 10th, down 4 spots from where he began this race. Kibbe up 10. Nothing out of the norm here so far for Kibbe as he'll continue probably towards the top 5 here. Seth Hatchell on the move. Reggie Ortega in the 12th position, started back in 22nd.
Ortega, he's not had a lot of luck in this series as of late. Had a lot of incidents, especially at Daytona, that he was involved in. I don't believe he's got a top 10 to his name. He's missed a race here and there in those first 3 races, but having a good run so far.
And Ortega racing in the dirty air of Philip Brewer. You can see how much he's having to work the wheel to keep this car down on the bottom as he has... Oh, contact!
Oh.
They're going to go for a ride through the grass.
Wow, they somehow saved it. Got to watch the rejoin. Not a good 2 races for Carwell. It's 2 times in 2 races that he ends up getting turned. He saves this one, doesn't crash, but there goes all that track position.
They're on board with the 2, but let's take another look back at it.
Nothing like a timely onboard right there.
Yeah. Curse of the commentator strikes again. Here comes the 2 off the corner. 71 got a little loose. I don't think he hit the wall, but he did try to correct and came down in front of the 2.
I think he tried to kind of turn off the wall there because he got so close to it, and if he didn't touch it, it was darn close. Turned the wheel harder left to avoid it and just kind of came down into the 2. But thankfully, besides losing track position, there was no harm, no foul, and now he's going to have to battle all the way from the back. They're back 26th for Ortega and a little further up for the 71.
Battle for 4th spot, or 3rd spot rather. James Lehman was to the inside of Bailey Turner, trying to take that spot away. Talk about another driver, and it's not had good luck, but has had good runs up until the luck went bad. It's James Lehman in the 05. How many times have we said his name in the past? Probably the first 4 weeks of this season, and then you go back to season 5 where he led a lot of laps, was the car to beat, and then just something dramatic or ridiculous would happen to him every time.
Yeah, remember he wrecked out early at Phoenix as he's going to swoop way high to try to get by Bailey Turner, but he lost his momentum. Remember, wrecked on a restart at Auto Club, spinning the tires. He ran top 5 pretty much that whole race. Then last week, didn't even make it 20 laps, wrecked down the back at Phoenix. Car was destroyed, didn't get a yellow. His race was done. So he's pretty far down in the points compared to the drivers who have ran every single race. He's 42nd in points. He's the lowest driver in points who has attempted every race. So he needs to get something going fast because it's hard to make the chase with 3 bad races like that, let alone that we have a lot more races to go. But he gets the pass done for 3rd. Ferrata starts to slip back. He might get 2nd here, but he needs top 5s and maybe even wins to get those extra points. Whoa, Ferrata, big wiggle.
I think that was another one of those, is he getting loose or is he not? Ferrata had to correct for it.
I don't know if he got loose or maybe a little netcode contact. It could have just been that he kind of anticipated the contact with Lehman sliding up the track and just swerved to get away from it. But works for Lehman either way. He kind of gets his way up to 2nd. And we talk about him all the time in the short runs. He's so fast on the short run. And he's showing it right now. He's multiple tenths faster, 2 tenths faster last lap, the lap before, compared to Jeff Wright.
42 cars on this racetrack. Ray Massey, an early exit. Brandon Wallace out here in 41st position, but he's riding about 3 seconds back. And I think the 99 picked up some damage, or something's not quite right here with the 99 tonight.
Yeah, I don't see too much damage, just maybe a little bit off the pace, not ready for the changes, maybe not handling the way he wants it to. Maybe it's because he's driving one-handed, I don't know. But either way, not too much speed in 99 at this moment.
Is it one-handed? I couldn't tell. I was looking at something else.
Yeah, he's got one hand on the wheel. He's cruising.
I think I was looking at something else there.
I'm sure you were. Right. No, I'm sure you were. I tell you what, Jeff Wright's taking the aero games to a whole new level. He just chased Lehman all the way up to the outside wall. Lehman was trying that high line, and 48 just put all the air on the front end of the 05, and Lehman ended up in the wall because of it. Right here is kind of just mirror driving, kind of like how you would drive the 550 package with that Cup Series package. You know, Lehman's got a little bit of a run, Where's he going to go? If he goes outside, if he goes inside, I'm going down. If he goes outside, I'm not turning. And right here, 48 just kind of stands his ground on the outside, and Lehman, all that air gets dumped on the front of that 05, and it just chases him to the wall so quickly.
Oh, and some contact with a 33. Ferrata's around. He's drifting. He saves it.
Oh, he saved it. Oh, that was a good one.
They will throw the yellow. The car sideways enough, but what a save by Ferrata.
Wow, that was a pretty good job by him not overcorrecting that. That's some real
top
good
10
stuff
right there. That's some VSPEED top 10.
It's up there for sure. I'm sure he's not going to be happy with Either the 24 or 33. I think Bailey Turner got some help, but he's at least got a race car. We should see pit stops here as well. But wow, that was so close to being so bad.
There's the contact. The 33 gets in the back of Turner. Serrano just gives a little nudge there to Turner, and then Ferrata gets the wrong end of it. What a save. Let's watch how much wheel input was in this thing.
I mean, if he doesn't correct that back to the inside, he's in the outside wall, and he's collecting half a dozen cars at least. I mean, we'll see how quick he had to whip this wheel right there. Woo-hoo-hoo. That is driving right there. Full wheel lock to the right. He has the presence of mind to turn it back left before he overcorrects back up the track. That was such good driving.
All right, I'm having to write that one down, definitely.
Mark, 40 minutes, lap 43, early lap 42. And he only lost about 4 spots out of it. He gets rewarded with a fresh set of tires.
At what cost? To make the VSPEED top 10? All right.
I think if he finishes well, it's a good trade-off.
Yeah, it's a heck of a save and maintaining position. He didn't lose much there. Pretty spread out there in the top 10, so he's going to end up staying in the 7th position where that caution fell. But it's Jeff Wright leading them down to pit road. Are we going to see any kind of strategy here? I don't know if 2 tires is the call here or not with this car.
I mean, we're seeing so much tire fall off. I mean, we saw 10-lap pressure tires. Bailey Turner drove through the entire field. Just looking at Adam Cabot's lap times, his fastest lap was a 30.9. I mean, they were running 32-second laps pretty quick, and really 10-15 laps after getting fresh tires. So, I mean, that fall-off's pretty severe. As Case Lakatos rolled through pit road, he took fuel only, so maybe he ends up staying out, maybe saving a set of tires, but he did take fuel only. Jeff Wright first on new tires.
Lakatos going to get some laps led, and Max Goss went through the grass a little bit here, just in front of the 50.
Thought he was going to hit the inside wall. He went in the Kenny Gibby stall.
Yeah.
Just missed.
Grass on the tires there. Couldn't lock it down. Brandon Wallace says the tires were at 39.56. I think you need to push the gas a little harder, Brandon.
I only think he's got to take a set of tires is what he's got to do. I can't imagine it was wearing out that much. I'm trying to see if
now, just for clarity, Brandon, if you could, 39 front or 39 rear?
I did see the previous yellow before this one. He did not take tires, so I guess he's saving a set.
He's saying 39 front, I hope.
Yeah, I would think it's 39 front. We're seeing them slide, but this is a track that you're on the right front on a lot with the way the setup is.
Just took the first set. Can't confirm.
See if that might end up working out. I mean, tires matter a lot, it seems. As Dakota Floyd's out of pit lane.
How well is he texting and driving right now? Look at this.
Well, you can go. It's much easier to do it at 120 when you have all these lanes too. You don't have to stay in your own lane.
He had his phone up there just a moment ago. It's texting and driving.
Yeah, as he reached out, now he's reaching for the shifter.
Yep.
Caught in, well, is it caught in 4K? We are in 4K, yes.
At least 2K.
Okay, caught in 2K. We'll work on the 4K.
Someday. I don't know. I think I need internet for that. I could probably do it, but I think I need internet for that. That's just a lot. We'll beta test someday, but Casey Lakatos is going to...
Season 15?
Yeah. Season 15, yeah. You think it's going to go another 14 or... Man.
I don't see it. Hey, you never know.
All right. I mean, why not?
No tires on Lakatos here. Should be interesting.
Yeah, and this is where I've seen Lakatos, he can get out here and probably lead a lap, but after that initial jump, it's going to be difficult, and already he's going to get challenged here. Bailey Turner's going to look inside. They're going to go 3 wide for the lead, and Lakatos quickly backing out of it. He's going to lose about 7 spots in one corner.
And it worked for Turner, though. He got the jump behind the race leader. He's going to get a run to the outside. Maybe take the lead because of it. Oh, right, fired it into turn 3, though, trying to get that spot back.
How many times has Bailey Turner got a little loose there, but how many times has Bailey Turner been on the right side of the strategy? Picking up right where he left off when he won that championship. 24 car. Gonna look to the inside. We had some 3 wide back here with Ferrata for a moment. Seth Hatchell has worked his way close to the top 10 again.
Yeah, top 5 or so single file out down the straightaway. Philip Brewer just kind of been sitting here, top 10, top 15, kind of lingering around this spot, trying to clear up in front of Seth Hatchell. Couldn't quite do it, but he's just kind of been biding his time. Started 6th. He's kind of hovered there. It's a tight 3 wide up ahead of the 87 for that 3rd position. Stravato on the bottom. We got Lehman on the top and 17 in the middle.
17's getting loose with contact. They hold on to it.
Now, I got to imagine that had to do maybe something with the aero, because he, 0.5, once he got a little bit of the nose ahead of the 17, that 17 just, the rear end came completely out from under him, and you could kind of see the 98 of Shepard there kind of have the same issue where he lost a lot of momentum, had to breathe the throttle a little bit. So we're seeing a few effects of that new aero update.
And it's 3 wide back here deep in the field. You've got the 13 with the points lead coming into tonight. Inside with a teammate, Bryce Shoemaker, and Logan Threlkeld in the 12. Just behind this.
Yeah, Turner back to the inside of Jeff Wright of a lead. He's not quite able to really get momentum, but maybe that side draft will carry him there, as there's still 3 wide in the background for about the 24th position, really 23rd position. Threlkeld's watching this, probably not wanting to be a part of it.
He says, why not? I'll do it too.
Sure. He's more brave than I would be back there.
And hold on to it.
Ooh, they are all over the place. Slick Racetrack will do that.
Bryce Shoemaker in the 54. He's had his hands full trying to get by some of these guys. Hasn't been able to clear. He's taking it 3 wide on the outside, and you'd think that's the preferred line, but with the aero, I think he's having a hell of a time trying to hold on to it right now.
I think he's having a time trying to figure out which line is best. I mean, do you want to just run your line? Do you want to get away from the dirty air, kind of running clean air as much as you can in a spot back here? We'll just have to wait and see, as he's trying to work his way up the field, trying to get up close to James Lehman. Lehman's trying to get the race lead away. He got the nose ahead. He's just barely not going to lead at the line. Whoa, him and Jeff Wright just doored for the race lead a little bit.
Battle continues for the lead. Just missed the door touch there, but we're going to continue to watch this battle down the backstretch.
And Lehman's driving hard right now, trying to get the clean air. He's going to dive into 3, probably harder than he has all race. He's going to slide. Jeff Wright on the outside, got the run. Lehman's just pretty much running him out of room. I think Lehman gave him enough room to get out of the corner, but I think Jeff Wright just overcompensated. No damage on that 48, but these guys are dogfighting right now. Lehman kind of arced the 48 out, but Jeff Wright just kept his foot in it.
Behind him.
It's just crazy.
And a block there from Cabot. Thought we were going to see another one of those 17-24 crime on crime there, as teammates have taken each other out last week.
Oh my goodness, Lehman's driving on the right rear out of turn number 4. He might have had his shot and lost it, but what a battle, these guys in the top 5. All these guys have raced each other probably for the last 9 years on iRacing, with Wright, Turner, Stravato, Cabot. These are guys I raced with 8-9 years ago, and they're still racing each other now in this car. I mean, this is crazy racing. Every driver is just all over the place out of the corner.
Gonna watch it here off of turn 4. This is where it's been the most dramatic. From that angle, it might look worse.
Well, you can see the door. You see the right side door number, which we've seen that a lot tonight. It's never good.
See if we can get another shot of that coming off of 4. Watch how much these guys are staggered and offset on this.
Actually calmed down a little bit. Lehman's actually calmed it down a bit. Ooh, almost to the wall. Not as bad. Kibby got a little wiggle. Calm down.
Battle for the 12th spot. Joshua Banks going to go by, almost clear here. It does get the clear signal coming off of turn 2. Move up to the 12th position.
Drivers in that second caution of the race didn't get much damage out of it, climbing back through the field. Justin Michael started runner-up, had some incidents with Ferrata. Has not really been able to stay in the top 5, as he's the one who lost that spot to Banks right there.
2 cars off the racetrack. Chad Klinger in the 09, the 23 of Ray Massey. Still 40 cars out here, and 40 of them on the lead lap. It's John Sanu. Last car on that lead lap. Last car on the track.
And I think one thing is that the field almost, I guess it's not as packed up. We've actually seen the back drivers outside the top 25 really lose touch with what is, I would say, the main pack. I think most of the field's staying more packed up than maybe what we usually see in these O'Reilly Series cars before these updates. As you know, Dakota Floyd, he's back there with damage, kind of just trying to get some luck to go his way, maybe get another chance to repair his car. But they're still racing throughout this field. Chuck Sweeting, he was in that crash with Banks. He's recovered just about the 22nd. Elvin Storm, I think he was also in that crash, so they're both kind of together in this.
An onboard camera here as we're watching him get a little bit loose there. Not too happy with the way this thing is handling, but this is on board with Rob Hamp. First time we've had a camera with him.
And got the keyboard, I guess sideways keyboard, to his left side as he's watching the racing in front of him. Chuck Sweeting kind of sideways. He's kind of struggled a little bit tonight to get inside the top 20, but he started back at 35th and he's climbed all the way up to 22nd. So really not a horrible day for him. 31st in points. He has that top 5, I believe. He had it at Daytona. Trying to get another one here this week.
I think there was a little contact there. I think the 12 might have gone into the back of the 18.
Don't want to mess with Santa.
No.
But definitely couldn't tell if it was in the... It didn't look like anything happened in the 1. Rokel maybe a little quicker trying to find his way through.
We're approaching that halfway mark, watching this battle back around the 22nd position. There's also another battle in the top 5. 24, 17, 33, 77. You've got Turner, Cabot, Ferrata, and Stravato trying to sort it out.
Oh, swooped way to the inside there. And this is all kind of getting backed up because of James Lehman. He had that run to try to pass Jeff Wright, couldn't get it done, and we're kind of seeing that part of the run again where Lehman starts to really hang the right rear out, starts to lose grip, and that's what Jeff Wright is usually at his best when he has that clean air to keep the tires on it, and he starts to pull away. And Lehman right now is holding up at least Bailey Turner, maybe 2-3 others that could probably maybe compete better with that 48 on the long run. But that pass is so hard to make, but Lehman just completely lost grip at turn number 2, so Turner's going to get that second spot.
Going to look to the high side here in 3 and 4, see if he can find some of that grip back. Cabot's going to look to the inside as they come off the corner. Car brushing the wall, that's Ferrata.
Still got a pretty good run off the corner. He got just enough of a run to get to the outside of AJ Stravato. I believe it was actually Stravato who hit the wall himself, but he's still got speed, trying to stay in the top 5. Everyone's just trying to find a way around the 0-5 because he is hanging it out.
Ferrata had to cut the 33 a break there as they went down the backstretch. And look at him fan out 3 wide again.
We're just trying to find clean air. 0-5's trying to find a way not to wreck as him and Cabot had some contact there. 3 wide for third. As Turner's pulled away from this battle, this is going to get ugly real quickly.
It continues on. Lehman going to lose 2 spots this time. Jeff Wright about half a second ahead, and it's just a cluster back here from 7th on back.
And just about
on back.
Just about trying to find, yeah, it's really 4th on back to Elliott Butler in 11th, which, by the way, Elliott Butler, he was in that, he had that big slide earlier, he saved it, but, you know, right now, the 0-5 is backing this entire group up, and this is, if they don't sort it out, get by the 0-5 cleanly, it could get real bad.
And there's the 6. Remember, Elliott Butler was involved in an incident earlier in this race that did not trigger a yellow. went all the way through the grass. Had the, I believe it was Carwile that went down through the grass with him.
Carwile back there. Yeah, Carwile and Ortega, they're still next to each other. Those are two that went through the grass, 14th and 15th now. And I'm sure they don't really want any part with what's happening ahead of them right now, but decent recovery for the both of them so far. Oh, Ferrata just hit the wall in the turn one. I think Cabot put a block on him, put him in the wall in the turn one. Kept it straight, though.
On board with Butler. O5 is just trying to hold on. He's kind of accordioned this whole top 10 as he goes back through.
Oh, they're almost 4 wide out of turn number 4.
Gonna stay 3 wide going into 1.
Oh, I do not like this one bit. Now they're 4 wide. Look out, there's not room for that. Butler backed out. That was real smart. That would have been a wreck if he didn't back out. Oh, there is a wreck.
Caution is out. Seth Hatchell was able to avoid it, but James Lehman on the apron of the racetrack.
I mean, we all saw it coming. It was a matter of time, and thankfully no one really got big damage out of that, but you can only drive 110% for so long until you're going to end up all over the place wrecking. And it just, we talk about it every race with him. He's got so much speed, but he just, every time he drives 110%, and then he just doesn't save the tires. Yeah, Butler did a good job backing out, but you see Lehman just all over the place. But it was actually partially Justin Michael who came up, kind of turned Lehman. They kind of came into each other. You know, they tried 4 wide of him too. That was never going to work. But the reason Lehman was in that position is because he can't save the tires. He's so fast short run, but he doesn't know how to save the tires. He doesn't know how to go less than 110%, and it costs him in all these races, and it's frustrating to see.
I believe Seth Hatchell might have picked up a touch of damage from that. But that will reach our 4th caution of the evening. And I would predict everybody to come down pit road this time by.
It should be most drivers, I would think, 3rd set. But we'll see. Bailey Turner, I think, is still down a set, though. So this is not really a yellow he wanted to see. But yeah, obviously, all the fall off we saw, he has no choice but to take the tires. Just on that run alone, Turner ran his fastest lap on lap 48, a 30.8, and he was already about 2 seconds off the pace after less than 20 laps. So the fall off is much bigger than I think it's ever been at this track.
Gonna watch the battle off of pit road. Jeff Wright into his stall. 4 tires and a full tank of fuel. James Lehman just now finding his stall. And the battle off pit road, neck and neck. Servano gets up to the top 3 with Bailey Turner. Jeff Wright going to lead him for this next restart.
Butler, I think, just took 2 tires, so it's really the first big strategy play we've seen. Really the first 2 tires we've seen, but gets him some track position. He's right behind that crash. It happened, he was just on the outside of the top 10, so we'll see how 2 tires works for him.
Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. We'll continue our coverage here on VSPEED. Back with more from Las Vegas in just a moment.
Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
Too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Drivers, start your
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Back here live at Las Vegas with Jeff Wright back to the lead. Bailey Turner, AJ Stravado, the top three off of pit road. Nathan Ferrana, Joshua Banks. A couple of cars took 2 tires. Elliott Butler on 2. He's hung up here on the outside. He has his hands full into the wall.
Yeah, this is kind of an experimental 2-tire stop. I think Butler, they're going to be 4 wide. Michael backed out of it, but I think Butler just wanted to see what the tires would do at the halfway point. And so far, not so good, as he had just had a huge wiggle into turn number 1. So this is not only something he's going to put in his notebook, everyone else is going to see how 2 tires after a just under 20-lap run just looks too loose.
He's hemorrhaged all the way back to the 11th position. Might lose a couple more spots as he's got his hand full again. Out of 4. He's going to lose another spot, maybe lose the car. He got really sideways there off the corner.
I think he's going to regret this at some point, because if this goes green, he's going to lose a lot of spots after he was running in about 11th. If it doesn't go green, he's probably going to be the caution with how all over the place he is. He's just having to give drivers the lane because he's just all over the place, loose.
Well, I told him I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Justin Ritchie is riding right behind the 6.
Oh, man, I do not want that on my front bumper. He's one of 3 drivers to finish top 10 in all 3 races so far this season. He's trying to keep that streak going. Only other 2 drivers to do that so far this season, I believe, Weekly and Seth Hatchell. But Richie not having the run he had at Phoenix for sure.
Going to continue to try to get around this 6 car, ends up losing 2 spots, cutting him a break.
It's a tough part about it. Halfway point, I think we're still at that point where you can afford to cut drivers' breaks, but if that happens 30-40 to go, I don't think he'll be so nice.
Did you say halfway?
I believe so.
Why not? Let's look for those volume knobs on the remote control, and let's get loud, presented by FireStorm Racing. Get Loud, presented by FireStorm Racing, and we just watched a battle for the lead there briefly 24. But Bailey Turner took to the inside of Jeff Wright. Jeff Wright played it to a tee, defended the position. He's been having to do that all night long.
Yeah, he really hasn't pulled away further ahead than half a second. So it's definitely something, maybe partially because of the little bit stronger draft, but the leader hasn't broken away all race. And kind of saw right there the lap before, Bailey Turner tried to maybe get him a little arrow loose. It just doesn't seem to really work as what you'd expect it to. It almost seems like the dirty air push up the track that you get from getting right behind someone, it's just not enough to push that driver in front of them up the track and get them arrow loose. So maybe something that could be balanced in future updates. But you know, we saw it a lot in the real race at Las Vegas today as there's contact for third. Oh, they almost wrecked again. Banks and Travado, they keep it straight. Banks is going to lose a spot to Ferrata, but that almost got ugly. But you know, it doesn't seem like aero packing on the back bumper is something that's really working right now in these cars.
There's a look back at the contact, slides up into the door. They save it twice.
I think the second one maybe was a frustration swerve. I think Travado came a little bit down the track there.
Frustration at Las Vegas. I think most
frustration
of this
with
car right now.
I've seen a lot of frustration with Travado. You got him a little loose there, but
Put the nose in there. Why not?
just a little bit. Just shove it in there.
A little Hocevar. Why not?
Before turn forward, shoves it in the door, gets it up to almost fourth. It's a good run brewing for Ferrata, though. He's another one who really, these two drivers, both Banks and Ferrata, they have not had good starts of a season. This is a good run for the 77, and Seth Hatchell still trying to recover from having a elusive track position earlier in the race, battling Philip Brewer, who's kind of been here all race and about the 11th spot.
Yeah, Brewer's been one of the standouts here. Won the championship in the Challenger Series. And the other driver that comes to mind is he's not having the greatest night in the world, but the 57 of Dakota Floyd. He won 2 championships there, but he's also proven that he belongs to be here in the Premier Series. I'll call it the Premier Series because this is where the talent pool, the strength of field is always the highest.
Cream rises to the top for sure. And like you said, Floyd had a lot of good runs in past seasons. He just needs a few more yellows to repair that damage. He just got passed by John Sanu for 36th, but right now it's Bruin at the front. Turner's trying everything he can to get the 48 off his game. It's just not quite working.
Give him the clean air there into 1 and 2, but not enough there for Turner to get the run. He'll dive again, and here's a little aero block on the bottom.
I see right there, I think you would think the 48 would kind of get a little sideways and not be able to throttle up out of the corner, but that dirty air just a little bit stronger than what I think it should be. Jeff Wright is able to get away, and the 24 kind of gets pushed away out of the corner. You saw him really get aero tight out of the corner there. You can kind of see Turner with that draft. We're talking about how that draft may be a little stronger. Turner kind of pulled closer to him into turn number 1.
Travado off the wall there, so a little bit of a gap developing. Continuing to watch this battle in the top 5.
Ferrata's trying to push the issue. Travado, I think, cut him a bit of a break. Ferrata just overdrove it into a wall. Tried to slide up in front of him. Almost went 5th to 3rd. He's going to go right back to where he came from. But he got a good run on the top of 3 and 4. Matter if the tires can hold up running that lane. I just don't think they can, but he gets a really good run doing it.
Ascend here on the inside of the corner. Lap 88 past the halfway mark. Jeff Wright, your leader. He has led 58 laps here this evening. Started in the 7th position, and the 48 car has been phenomenal. Ever since we went back to this B-Class car, Jeff Wright's kind of looking like he's right at home. You got Bailey Turner just behind that, who's had to gain 26 positions to get up here, battling with Joshua Banks in the 35 for the 2nd spot. Banks now going to have the nose going in to 1 and 2, and just behind that, it's AJ Travado, who's trying to follow the 35 through this corner. Doesn't look like it's going to work. We go on back through your top 5. There's a look at the 33, a little contact with the wall. He's able to save that. And then it's a Nathan Ferrata in the 77. Ferrata has been solid all day as well.
You got Adam Cabot. It's really the lowest Cabot's been all race, 6th position, maybe trying to save the tires, try something different. Justin Michael, remember he kind of dropped back to 13th. He's climbed back up 7th. He's battling with Kenny Gibby, another driver who's climbed through the field, not as much as Turner has, but he's up to the 8th position as they get real close and personal with each other. Michael kind of drifting off the corner, kind of burned that right rear up. Seth Hatchell's up in 9th. He's kind of hovered there since he got back up to the front. Reggie Ortega, once again, pretty good run for Ortega. I believe he did win in this car at Daytona when we were in the B car previous seasons. He's running top 10.
You run through the top 10 here on lap 91 now. We'll go deeper into the field, looking for some battles on the racetrackers. Christopher Hodges running to the outside. Ben Lafter on the inside.
Case Lakatos, remember he took no tires on that one yellow. He finally got a clean set of tires, so he's kind of battling with the 64 here near the mid-pack. It's Lakatos off the back bumper. Chris Hodges, obviously the driver we're on board with. Also, quick note, saw J.R. Shepard. He was running about top 15. I think he had a crash, his iRacing crashed, so he's now 5 laps down, but he is back on track.
So technical issues there. It's Michael Jones in 39th position. The last car on the lead lap running in 39th position. Austin Belke off the wall here on the outside. They'll get to the outside of Tim Shinowski.
Two drivers who have battled a little bit to start the season themselves. 27th position up for grabs. I believe both these drivers started a little further back. Shinowski started just about second to last. Belke pretty much started where he's running. They've kind of converged on each other at this point in the run.
And it's converging all the way through this field. How many times this season, or any season really, have we seen that, the top 3 or 4 cars split away and then the rest of the field kind of fights accordions back together, but ultimately you see them spread out? That's not been the case here today. The aero has been so bad. We're within 6 seconds all the way to 30th place.
Yeah, but, it's not so bad to the point where it's incredibly spread out. I mean, you could still run close to one another, but just making passes, getting through the field is just proven to be tough, and that draft is keeping everyone kind of in that bubble with each other to where no one can really pull away. I mean, the top 2 are as far away from the rest of the field as we've seen all race. It's about a 1-second gap now from Banks to Stravato. That's the most we've seen separation at the front of this field.
There was a battle there briefly. Kenny Kibbe had looked to the inside of Michael, and we're going to look 3 wide. I thought we were going to look 3 wide. Just not a run there as Michael really chased it up the track.
I don't think he expected. I think he tried to swerve in line to get in front of Kibbe and just overdid it. Could have been really bad, but we're starting to see it kind of stack up from third on back again.
Oh boy!
Oh, I don't. Kibbe's getting a little impatient with the 87, but he also, that was a moment where the aero packing did work. I mean, Kibbe it's almost like you have to get on the left rear quarter panel. Not the quarter panel, but the left rear bumper, like right on him to do it. And that's exactly what Justin Michael had to experience there. But we're starting to see it get way more packed up third on back. I mean, Stravato, Turner, their cars aren't handling very well, and all these drivers are trying to get packed up behind them. Battle for the lead, though. Banks to the inside, got to Jeff Wright, and he's inside for the lead.
This is another attempt at the lead. I think Banks got that lap led just barely.
That's a tight one. I mean, we know Banks is going to do anything he can to try to get the lead away, and the 48's driving hard, trying to keep it away from him, but this is happening way in front of the rest of the field.
And the battle continues back here around the top 10. Reggie Ortega had taken a couple looks to the inside. He's got Carwile all over the back end. And there's the 03 and Mahalski. So how about this? I think this now is cars that save their tires for this long run.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like that. I think Adam Cabot's one of those trying to kind of save those tires and using them up now to get to the front. He's up to 5th, trying to get Turner, Mahalski, Reggie Ortega. They're kind of swapping back and forth as well. I mean, this is, I think, got to be the longest run of the race, where in 4 or 5 laps it'll be 30 laps. And remember, we can't make it to the end. Everyone needs one more pit stop. It's just a question of when that pit stop happens. Is the undercut going to be the way to go? Does clean air matter that much, or do you want the fresh tires? Because it is a lot of fall off from where we started this run. We're about 2 seconds off. Banks is so close to clearing Jeff Wright every time. He just can't do it.
A decent run there off of 2, but can he carry the momentum down on the bottom of the racetrack? Jeff Wright has been really good about the exit off of turn 4. This time by 0.03 of a second.
I think Banks' tires are better. I mean, Jeff Wright just did not get off the corner like you would think he would on the outside part of the racetrack. I think Banks, I thought he was going to try to slide up in front of him, but those bumps in the middle of 1 and 2 absolutely killed his run. 48 slides out of the corner. 35 chasing up the track, trying to side draft him. This is good stuff, but we've seen the battle with these two go sour before. Just can't quite clear him. Philip Brewer just pit. It's the first scheduled stop, probably for 15th.
I don't know if that's going to work. Jeff Wright got back to the throttle a little earlier.
Too early. Yep.
It worked.
Yeah, not as good as I think he wanted it to, though. And Michael Jones might end up dictating this battle for the lead if he doesn't get out of the way. He just blinked out of the way, but this is the furthest ahead the 35's been. I think he's going to slide up. He's got the lead away, and you can see how pumped he was right there.
A lot of work went into that one. A lot of work, and AJ Servato battling with Adam Cabot. You mentioned this tires being saved. The 17 definitely has the advantage. But again, it goes back to what we saw with Banks just a moment ago. It's going to take a while.
It's hard to make that pass no matter what the car drives like. And Cabot's just kind of been committing to try to get away from the dirty air. He's going to have to avoid Michael Jones on the outside, so it's not going to be pretty out of the corner. Also, Seth Hatchell, another one of those drivers who saved his tires. He's moved up to the 6th position out of all this.
He's well on the move as well. He could gain a couple more spots before we hit pit road. I would venture to say within the next 5 laps, we're going to see everyone pour in.
And we might still see a new leader. I thought the 35 might pull away, but Jeff Wright got back to the inside. Couldn't quite hold it down there, though. Nathan Ferrata just pit. So we're starting to see these drivers trickle down to pit road. Looks like James Lehman's in. Ooh, that is fast. Watch the cone.
Good to go. Barely. Got it, though.
Cabot just slid up in front of Turner. Turner crossed him over. That's for 3rd, and these guys are... It's going to be down the Banks and Wright unless someone has a big undercut and is able to make it work. Those top 2 have just completely separated themselves from the rest of the field this run. Oh, here comes Seth Hatchell. He might get both of them. Look at this run.
Look at Stravato. He got a big run there off of 4.
Nowhere to go with it. But that pass on the inside, those bumps on the bottom 1 and 2, it's just handicapping every driver. I mean, they're losing 2-3 a lap battling like this.
Elkel down and out of pit road. Here comes the 33.
Got a lot of rear brake in that thing. You can see him weaving back and forth, but it's a good entry. Justin Ritchie, points leader Caleb Weekly. I believe Thurlkeld's back there. No, that's not Thurlkeld. That's Tim Shinosky.
Here comes
Banks. That's pretty gutsy, pitting first ahead of the 48 from the lead. Really squirrely on entry, but I think he got it. Comes Reggie Ortega from 8th. So it's interesting. I thought the 48 would beat the 35 into the pits, and now he didn't. So you think maybe he runs this long trying to get the tire advantage.
I think you run this long in case the trend continues. We've seen yellows late in these races. This is about the window. 30 to go, 35, and then it all breaks loose.
He's definitely going to stay out at least one more lap. Looks like Kenny Kibbe's going to pit. He's gotten to the top 5. Here comes Noah Mahalski. I think Rob Hamp maybe back there. 50, 89, 6, 63. Like the 22, he's a lap down. He's in. Luke Johnson, who tried the pit but missed it. Oh no, he was just in the wall in the turn number 3. Sanu had a little bit of a crash. Yeah, he's got a lot of right front damage. He's had a crash somewhere in 3, I think. But it looks like no yellow. Jeff Wright pits, meanwhile. Carwell's pitting. Let's see what happened to John Sanu here. And oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay, well, I saw Michael Jones pit that exact lap, so I don't know if he ran out of fuel and tried to just cut down or not, but he just right-reared John Sanu. It's not going to go over well. But no yellow. Jeff Wright pits along with a few others.
And that'll hand the lead over to Seth Hatchell for the time being. It looks like he might be coming down to pit road.
Yep, here comes Cabot behind him. Nina Chambliss is in. So they're all going to pass Sanu on entry. Shoemaker. Looks like Davis, Hodges.
And it's Bailey Turner to the top spot for the first time today, but he has Justin Michael looking to take it away from him.
Christopher Hodges kind of missed his stall on pit road, but yeah, Turner, remember, worked for him in Auto Club. 35 gets his lap back. This is actually a battle for position, him and Justin Michael. So Turner definitely has not kept the tires on this car, but it's going to try to get the same stroke of luck he got at Auto Club and try to get that yellow to give him the track position as Chuck Sweeting pits from 3rd.
Before trying to find his way to pit road. A lot of fresh tires coming by on the inside. Here we go, 3 wide. Jeff Wright, AJ Stravato side by side.
And this is effectively a battle for second or fourth, because there's some guys that short pit like Ferrata. You had Banks get in front of all these drivers by a decent bit as well. But this is a straight up battle for position.
And the 12 of Logan Throckout on the outside there for a moment. But Michael got around the 24. Now Bailey Turner reeling him back in. How long are they going to take this run?
I don't know how much longer they really can afford to take it, especially with how much fall off there is. We went back going racing at about lap 72. So, you know, full fuel tank, they can probably take this maybe to 10 to go, 15 to go if they wanted to, but you're just handicapping yourself for the end of a race, and you probably won't get those spots back.
Praying for a yellow at this point.
I would think so. And he's not the only one. You got about Dakota Floyd. He's got a lot of damage. It's not surprising to see him doing this. Brandon Wallace running about 8 seconds off of Turner, kind of doing the same thing. Pretty much everyone else in the top 10 has pit, though.
A look there at the 3rd place driver. Here comes Dakota Floyd, though, to try to take it away. Floyd on a little bit of damage here, but also playing that strategy, doing what he needs to do to possibly salvage the day. Joshua Banks, net race lead. He's ahead of Jeff Wright by about 2.5 seconds.
And he just passed the Nathan Ferrata last time by at the line, so he would cycle out to be the race leader, but it's all got to cycle out.
Jeff Wright, 2-lap advantage on tires. All the drivers in this top 10, he has the freshest ones.
Oh! Sorry, Max Koss just slammed the wall out of turn number 4. No yellow yet, but everyone trying to scramble to avoid him. He killed the right side of that car.
A big thank you to Connor Horn. He sees everything, folks. There's the contact.
He got on the outside of 64, Ben Laughter at a bad spot. I'm not sure what Laughter could really do. I think they just maybe got a little bit of a wiggle when the 63 got to his right rear quarter panel. It's just, I think might be a tire difference there. 64 is already washing up the track. That was a tight window right there. They get to the outside and Koss slammed the wall as a result.
Continuing to stay out here.
Yeah, I would think they can go 10, 15 more. I do not think they can make it to the end. So just waiting on that yellow.
Almost got it.
Hope it goes their way. They hope it goes their way. The other side of things, it's Jeff Wright stayed out, got some fresher tires, trying to chase down to 35 as Mahalski Ortega. It's a battle. I think it would end up being in the top 10 once it all cycles out.
Slide job there from the two. Not going to be enough to deter Noah Mahalski. That momentum off of turn 4. He'll take it into the corner. This would probably net the top 10 as they continue to battle here off of turn 2.
Giving each other an inch, that's for sure. This is for a top 10 at the end of the race. Almost contact into turn 3 there. And kind of surprisingly behind him is Adam Cabot. Did not cycle out through. It has not cycled out for him. Lost a lot of time, I think, getting on and off of pit road, and he's put himself behind these drivers. Slightly fresher tires, but did lose a lot of time.
Kenny Kibbe working his way into the top 10 again. Kibbe looking like a top 5 car to finish this thing off. Just over 30 to go. 20 to go, rather.
That's how he's rolled all season long. He doesn't qualify well, works his way up through the field. Eventually, he's top 5, top 10.
I said, more of the same. We're not surprised by that.
No.
Some cars a lap down here after the cycle of pit stops. Ben Lafter in the 64. We were talking about him just a moment ago, the contact with Max Koss, but here's an onboard look with the driver of the 64. And a little bit of a struggle here today. It was riding around the 15th to 20th position, but now a lap down. And it was botched on the pit road. A little bit longer down into the stall. That's what happens when these races go green. And you never know when it's going to happen. Of course, starting off this race, I thought we were going to be caution plagued. And now, since about lap, well, do the math, about lap 80? Does that sound right?
Somewhere around there since we last went green, or last went, had a restart. It was about lap 72.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think we just had Angelo Horonis. He was running top 15. He just had an internet drop, I think. So order's going to be shuffled. Meanwhile, we just maybe missed it, but Jeff Wright just got by Joshua Banks. That would cycle out to be the battle for the lead. Justin Michael missed his stall at a crucial point in the race. He's going to lose a lot of track position, but what would cycle out to be the lead, Jeff Wright just took it.
That's going to be close there for Bailey Turner. I think he got it, though. Brandon Wallace going to stay out and lead a lap. Going to try. Yeah, he's going to be close. I think he got it.
Yeah, that undercut did not work for the 35. He kind of got stuck in the 15's dirty air in 1 and 2. That let Jeff Wright just roll around the outside of him.
They have caught up to these drivers that have stayed out on the racetrack. Brandon Wallace continuing to run around here. He has Dakota Floyd, who's trying to get a bonus point for leading a lap on the back end.
I believe Wallace gets it there. Floyd won't get it this time around. Jeff Wright going to pass both of them, put more distance between him and that 35.
Went back and forth a lot there in the run from lap 72. Got to around lap 100 before they started battling. Banks, the first one to blink down pit road. Jeff Wright, 2-lap advantage on tires. And this time by about a 10th difference in lap times.
And yeah, Banks just really had to deal with lap traffic. He had to deal with Chris Hodges kind of being on his rear bumper, ended up passing him, took the 35's line away, and it's, I think, really hurt him here. And even just 2 laps making that big of a difference, and the dirty air, not like the Cup car, it doesn't matter as much in these cars, which is not surprising. It's how it's supposed to be, and this fresher tires prevailing right now. Overcut prevailing.
Watching Jeff Wright work around here. this race stays green, it might just be a runaway victory, and it'll be back-to-back here. Jeff Wright getting it done last week at Phoenix in a race that could have had a caution. We saw at the tail end, he had those green-white checkers, but Jeff Wright usually does well when the race stays green for a long period of time.
It's kind of his bread and butter. Long run, saving tires, and then stretching it out at the end of the run. Didn't really see that on the previous run, but he has the fresher tires. And at this point, that's kind of all he's going to need. But he's still going to have to keep the tires on as Chris Hodges gets out of the 48's way. I'm sure 35 is not going to be happy with that after the 15 kind of packing air on him for so long. But not over yet. Some lap traffic might have to be dealt with at some point. And who knows, Banks, maybe this tires cycle back around and he can chase him back down.
This hasn't quite cycled out to the top 10 yet.
Brandon Wallace finally
still, yeah, Brandon Wallace coming down, so this will be right on the edge of the top 10. Ryan Carlisle, Philip Brewer just ahead of Reggie Ortega and Noah Michalski.
Yeah, Philip Brewer, where he's been pretty much the entire run, just hanging on to that top 10 spot. We'll see what Brandon Wallace can recover to get. He'll probably go around just over a lap down with its 4-tire stop. But thought maybe the 48 was starting to stretch it. 35 staying with him.
Right around 2, roughly tenths of a second last time by. Banks was a little bit faster. Just a little bit, making up that ground. Another 10th.
You saw kind of the 48 throttled up center exit a little bit earlier than Banks, but he kind of lost a little on exit because of that. He's also leaving a little bit of room on the racetrack for the 35 to poke that headlight, get some clean air on. But Joshua Banks is not going away anytime soon.
And the points lead here, Caleb Wakely losing some spots. Got a little bit older tires than the cars around him. Chuck Sweeting, Brian Chambliss, goodbye on the inside. The Wakely back to 15th here in the closing laps. Talking about probably a good 5-6 lap difference in tires compared to the cars in front of them.
Yeah, like we saw with the 35-48, that makes a difference, and more than I think it really ever has in any other race this season, especially. I mean, those tires are at a premium.
Not done yet. We got some dirty air here. I believe that's the 98 of Shepard. He'll drop down to the inside. Big run off of turn 2.
Yeah, he got out of the way, but the damage was done. He's 3 laps down, kind of held at the 48 corner exit. Now Banks going to try to run that high side, get a big run down the front straightaway, trying to maybe make a move on Jeff Wright here. He's got a huge run.
Surprise, surprise. 2 laps, not making a big enough difference here. But can Banks get it done before that wear starts to come into play?
Oh, we saw once
Under
again,
10 to
48.
go.
He tried to drive it off of 2 really hard, but he slid the right rear big time. This is where Banks on the last run was so much better than Jeff Wright, getting out of the corner at a turn number 4, but he slid up the racetrack there a little bit.
Jeff Wright kind of pinched him down, put him in a bad spot.
There's action all over this track, but maybe none better for the race for the lead right now. I just saw Laughter and Butler. They had some contact. Battle for 20th is insane right now. Cars all over the place. Different tire strategies. Davis, Shinosky, Lakatis, Brandon Wallace with those fresher tires getting through there.
Let's watch it back here for the top 10. Reggie Ortega, Noah Michalski. Brewer falls back to 12th.
Saw 33 get a piece of the wall. Just lost spot in 5th to Cabot.
Hatchell next in line here.
Yeah, Hatchell's had a pretty good run at this stage of the race right now. He's almost into that top 3 spot. He's chased down Kippy the past 5 laps.
How thankful we are to have Seth Hatchell out here on the racetrack. He's put on a full season so far. Good to see the 8 car on here as we battle for 3rd spot. Kenny Kibbe on the outside. about even on tires. About a 2-lap advantage for Hatchell as he'll go by the 14. It's Adam Cabot coming up next. Malski got back to 10th. What is going on?
And not letting this go easy, that's for sure. No driver is, as J.R. Shepard's going to let them battle for that spot. Just once again, that inside line, if you get pinched down, it's so hard to make something happen. Mahalski tries to do the right thing, kind of run that high side, get that run, but Ortega kind of tried to block it, but he didn't really block it well enough. But not much of a run for the 0-3 there.
Really going to cut the tri-oval to try to get to the inside as we approach 5 laps to go. One more string of offense. Can the 35 of Joshua Banks get to the back? Jeff Wright.
You see, he's kind of searching again, trying to enter high, exit low, anything to get a run on the 48 down the straightaway. Did a pretty good job, gained as a whole right there. You saw Jeff Wright kind of went to the apron to try to gain that time back, but it didn't really work. But Banks just trying to search, get out of the 48's air, but that was not a good corner. Missed entry to 1 there, but see if he pulls anything back from it. Not quite.
A little bit.
Not enough. Cabot just got by Kibbe for 4th. They just about had some contact. No more lap traffic either. This is straight up for the win. Pretty good corner from Banks there. These two are not going to go away anytime soon. Here's a dive. Think, what would he do to beat Jeff Wright? We've seen it. Would he do it again, though?
Was it Charlotte that you're referring to?
That was with McWhorter. It was Kansas. They had contact. Just about had some more right there. Banks drove it hard into the entry to 3, and it stuck pretty as well as it could. 3 laps to go. He's running out of time, running out of chances.
He only has to get him by 1,000th.
He kind of committed to the bottom late. Wrapped the white line pretty well, but that 48's going to get the run off. But Jeff Wright just mirror driving. Wherever 35 goes, he's trying to go.
He's been getting his runs out of turn 4. That's where I look forward to seeing it if he can do it.
He lost a lot of time that lap. He's going to have a monster 2 laps here.
Locked into focus. Here we go. On board with the 35 for these next 2.
So Jeff Wright kind of ran the middle. 35 kind of went a groove higher, tried to get that run, but now he's about 0.3 of a second back.
Wright did not block the outside here.
He inched up just enough, though, to where 35 had some dirty air on the corner. Putting the head down. He's got to run, but he's going to have a monster white flag lap.
One more time around here. Joshua Banks taking a stab for the race lead. Jeff Wright has had it for about 90 laps. If he leads the last one, it will be 90. Jeff Wright a little bit tight there off the corner. Is it going to be enough? 0.2 of a second separate the 35 and the 48. Jeff Wright trying to go back-to-back. He aero blocks the entry as Joshua Banks sends it into the corner. Not going to get a good exit. And the 48 of Jeff Wright is going to win all through the desert.
It's going to be a killer for Banks. He had the track position. The strategy just wasn't right. Hatchell 3rd, Cabot, Kibbe, Stravato, Carwell, Ferrata, Ritchie, and then Reggie Ortega the top 10. Good little test for the new era on these cars and a pretty solid finish.
And a lot of smoke down the backstretch.
Stephen Davis spins past the line. Couldn't quite see what happened. Looks like Broderick Baglavic crashed. 7 car. James Lehman's got damage. Rob Ham had a number of drivers crash down the back.
Is that around that 20th position where it all went wrong?
Lehman was running... Those are about for the 25th position, I think. Actually, might have been for that 20th position. Actually, not sure. Actually, I think Rob Hamp ran out of fuel and caused a chain reaction. But that guy, Jeff Wright, he's pretty hard to beat.
Updated car, updated track. Kept the field tight all night long, and Jeff Wright leads 90 laps to become victorious here today. Don't go anywhere. Post-race interviews with your top 3, those final race results, You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. More coverage right after this.
What a finish! Too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and rolling costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where Saturday Night Racing League has concluded week number 4. Las Vegas Motor Speedway put on a fantastic show in a battle for the lead between Jeff Wright and Joshua Beggs, but ultimately it is Jeff Wright who gets the best of the 35. Final race results up on your screen after 4 cautions and 12 lead changes. 2, maybe 3/10 of a second. We'll go with that between the 48 and the 35. Seth Hatchell going to round out the top 3. We'll get a word with those drivers in just a moment. Adam Cabot will come home in 4th spot with Kenny Kibbe in 5th. Then you have AJ Stravato. Ryan Carwile will finish in 7th. Nathan Ferrata in 8th. Justin Ritchie, Reggie Ortega the top 10. And a name that I'm not seeing up here, the 24. Guess we got to go back a little bit further.
Yeah, we're just barely going to get him in there down there at 19th. By the way, Jeff Wright, this is his 4th victory at Las Vegas, and only the 2nd time the pole sitter has not won the race because Chad Klinger not finished well. But 4th victory here for Jeff Wright. 11th place for Noah Mahalski. Just could not get the best of Reggie Ortega at the end there. Philip Brewer, 12th. Chuck Sweeting, good run for him, 13th. Derek Garrison, returned to the series. I think he'll take a top 15, 14th specifically. Chambliss, 15th. Justin Michael, probably a little disappointed with a 16th place finish. Caleb Weekly will not maintain the points lead, I don't believe. I believe he'll go to Jeff Wright. But he finished 17th. He recovered. He was further down the order. He recovered late in that race. Bryce Shoemaker, 18th. He went 36th to 18th, so he went plus 18. And then Bailey Turner, going long, did not work for him this time. He ends up 19th. And Elliott Butler, who had a few slides of his own, ends up 20th.
21st going to go to Ben Lapter. Stephen Davis getting a finish here from 34th to 22nd. Casey Lakatos will finish 23rd. Tim Shinosky from the tail end of the field to 24th position. Then you have Austin Belkey, Eldon Stewart, Keith Shoemaker, Roderick Vaklavic, Rob Hamp running out of fuel. And starting with the cars a lap down, Chris Hodges in the 15th.
31st place, Brandon Wallace. He ran long. I believe he might have gotten I don't know if he got a penalty or just lost that much time going that long, but he ends up 31st. Dakota Floyd, tough night for him, 32nd after a top 3 start. Michael Jones, 33rd. McFadden, 34th. Didn't really talk about them a lot tonight. James Lehman, once again, had a really good race, but once again, something went wrong there. He ended up at the back. They ended up wrecking on the final lap, and he was a part of that. Not sure if we get to see it or not, but a few drivers wrecked in that. Lehman was one of them. He ends up 35th. Horrible start to his season for him. J.R. Shepard, internet went out for him. He ended up 36th because of it. Logan Threlkeld, 37th. Andrew Hronis, he also dropped out, so he ended up 38th. So that's 2 drivers, unfortunately, not having anything go their way in the internet department. Max Koss, 39th, wrecked out late, and John Sanu wrecked out late as well. He ended up 40th. And then only other 2 finishers, Chad Klinger, who exited 41st. Pole sitter, exact opposite of what you want as a pole sitter. Not the first time that's happened this season. And then obviously Ray Massey was in that big crash of Caleb Weekly, 42nd for him.
Now it's time to take you trackside. Pull up your race winner. The first driver we're going to talk to here this evening, I believe he's in the waiting room. We have Jeff Wright in the number 48. Jeff Wright, I tell you what, back-to-back in the Mojave, and I mean, right now, the way it looks, back to the points lead.
Yeah, I really like these West Coast swing tracks, so, and with the new build that released on iRacing this week, we didn't really know, how this car was going to drive. One thing's for certain, though, that the aero is a lot worse, so you got to get out from behind somebody. You got to run a different lane, and we had a pretty good qualifying effort, started 7th there. And then, we're able to work our way forward a little bit, but man, those last 2 cars were really tough to pass. Nathan Ferrata was really quick tonight. Justin Michael was really good. And then, Joshua Banks making a late race charge there. Kind of caught me off guard. I thought I had him with the overcut and, having the 2 lap pressure tires. I thought once we got around him, that was going to be it. But, late in the race here, he made a really good run at us. And thankfully was just able to use the clean air to my advantage and, dump some dirty air onto his car, kind of control the lanes a little bit, if you will. And Andrew Toganoff on the box helping me kind of let me know where Josh was running. And so I think that really helped us. But there was no doubt that 35 was pretty quick tonight. Is just that barrier of air, I think, really helped us get this win tonight.
Jeff, you go back to the beginning of this race where we had kind of the opposite of what we had in the first 3 weeks, cautions at the start, and then we run green all the way to the end. And that's really where you shine. Last week, you were able to overcome it, but really and truly, if you want to talk about what the 48 performs at, it's those long green flag runs and defending the air.
Yeah, it was super fun to get a long run there. A pit sequence, I always feel, really good about trying to gain an advantage, getting, on and off pit lane. We saw Josh, he pit, a little bit before us there. And so, Andrew up on the box told me, he's like, hey, we're going to go 2 laps longer here. I think we'll get you the tire advantage and you'll have a really good shot. And so we did that. I felt like we got on and off pit lane really good. And then, we're, 2-3 seconds behind him, I think, once we cycled out from going long. And yeah, we were able to chase him back down there. And like I said, I thought once we passed him, I was just hoping it'd stay green. I thought we had it, but Josh making that late race surge. I don't know what he was doing behind the wheel, but you saw it that previous run. He got us on the long run there and passed us before the pit stop. So I was glad that we only had a roughly 35 lap run to the end there. I think if it would have been any longer, I really think that probably would have played into Josh's hands, and he might have been the one in victory lane tonight. But hey, we'll take it. Las Vegas has been a great track for us, and I'm glad we could do it again on this new iRacing build.
Well, Jeff, we appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. I know that stab at the lead was kind of surprising to us as well up here in the booth, especially with that deficit on tires. But you put on a phenomenal show, kept the race, honestly, with 42 cars, phenomenal broadcast. Anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Yeah, big thanks to you guys, VSPEED up in the broadcast booth. Excited to watch this one back. Shout out to all of our league sponsors, that help us out financially, put these events on. I'll name them off. M&J Distributors being our series premier sponsor. Couldn't do it without them. And then all the other sponsors that pitch in financially. And, 29 Graphics, Walk and Roll and Costumes, Juicy Spider Studios, Clark Print Shop, FireStorm Racing. And then also you even saw a commercial tonight, Tractor USA. So cool to have their commercial back on the broadcast tonight. We'll shout out both brothers tonight for watching. I got a text, said congratulations on the win, so appreciate that. And then Andrew Toganoff up on the box. I mean, I wish he was out here racing with us, but Bradley, due to those unforeseen circumstances, he can't be out there, so he can be on the box, and he's been a great asset for us these past 2 weeks. So owe a lot to him. And then Reggie Ortega, he told me before the race, he said, the last time somebody qualified not on the pole and they won here, they started 7th. Well, we started 7th tonight, and we were able to keep that trend going. So thought that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, statistics. Connor Horn's always good with those. And all the stats that we have to throw out there, we've got plenty more here for season 6. I'm sure you guys will continue to put on a great show. Thank you for coming up here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Jeff Wright, victorious here today. And we have another driver to talk to. It's your second place finisher, runner up. Connor Horn has caught up with Joshua Banks.
Yeah, I do have Banksy in second place, only leading 6 laps. I'm sure it doesn't tell the whole story of it. On the plus side, first top 15 of the season, you get runner-up, so back in the points picture. But on the other side of things, you were right there. You had the track position, strategy, 48 gets the tires, gets ahead. Just what more could you have done to hold the 48 off and then get them back?
Just another freaking week where it's just like you follow the Jeff or leader Jeff or whatever. But either way, it's I thought for once, pitting early a couple laps would be better because he's done it before, and he drives away and you're trying to run him down. But it just, I don't know what it is, but I guess the new update's different. I don't know, but I tried to beat him on pit road in terms of tires and get ahead that way, and it worked for a little bit. But and then of course the later end of the run, I got some life back in the car, and it just burned the stuff up just trying to get around him at that point because it was too late in the run, I think, and we were both pushing and running hard. So it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, driving through passing cars, tons of fun, but just you're right there to get that first win of the season, and it's just right there, and you don't get it, and it hurts, man. It's all the work we had to do. I'm sweating. I feel like I should be victory lane for all the sweat I put into the shirt here. So it is what it is, though, and thankful that we did, like you said, get a first top 15 of anything this season. So moving forward, hopefully we can keep this going.
Yeah, obviously a tough pill to swallow, but still a good result. Up to, I believe, 16th unofficially on points. And obviously talked about the new arrow. And I guess take us through that, because you're one of the drivers who kind of had to do more passing than Jeff, I would say. So what did you feel that was different? What helped the car? Is it better, worse, stuff like that?
It definitely affects it a little bit arrow wise. I've noticed when people are side by side, or at least when I'm side by side, the car does step out a little bit more than normal. When they're really on your door, the back end just wants to free up. So that's been a little different. Tucked in behind somebody. Tonight, I didn't feel it near as much as I did Wednesday night when I tried an open race. So I don't know what that was going on there. Maybe the car was looser in this aspect, so you didn't feel it near as much. So you didn't see that, but I did feel like side-by-side racing, you can feel a little aero change now. And, you saw people moving around and trying different lines this time just to get clean air, and that was fun. That's what I was trying to do with Jeff. Once I got the clean air, I could feel a difference with how the car handled trying to wrap the corner and get a good run off. Once you get behind him though is it definitely felt like, even though I was older tires, it definitely felt like it was tighter to an extent where I couldn't get back on the gas as quick as he could. So that's where you really have to move around and figure out where to get the runs from. So I like it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it does at Darlington, because that one's going to be the single lane track with 3 and 4 being maybe a multi-groove. We'll see about that. But tonight, Vegas multi-groove racing's definitely here. It just, depending on how you do with your tires, is how well it does. So it was cool. I had fun and looking forward to next week with it.
And we'll see how next week goes. I know it's not the stat you want to hear. You wanted your 11th victory, didn't get it. It's 16 runner-up finishes in this series history. The results are there. It's just about maybe 48, 24, depends, but it's a tough league. But either way, good run for you, Josh. And thanks for talking to us. And anyone else you want to thank or shout out?
Well, you guys in the booth, I go through the list every time. I might be rusty today because it's been a while since we've been in the booth. So you guys up in the booth, all our partners and sponsors, all a part of the league that help do this. Now, what I'm going to do here is actually funny because the sponsors are on my car and I'm looking at it. So we got JS Studios, we got Walk and Roll and Costumes, Clark Print Shop, 29 Graphics. We got me, M&J Distributors, and we got FireStorm Racing. Named them all, brother. So thanks everybody for hopping on board for the league. 6 seasons strong is awesome. So just keeping the ball rolling with these guys and just keep going on good racing. I bet it was fun for the fans to watch. And it's fun for behind the wheel, looking back at it, but during it, you're frustrated. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and I appreciate everybody watching.
You're definitely one of the biggest movers as well from 21st. Didn't really mention that. Tough runner-up, but much needed in the points. Thanks for talking to us, Joshua, and we will see you next week.
Everybody, appreciate you.
Yes, sir. The leader, Jeff, is kind of follow the leader. I think he's tired of running behind the 48.
Yeah, I think he was exhausted to even say it. He was just tired of doing it. And this is what you said, the 16th runner-up finish there. I would be interested to see how many times it was the 48.
Right?
Yeah. That would be the other statistic. I don't know if you could ever have that offhand, but man,
we'll see. We got to get our P3 runner, but maybe I can get you that.
All right. Well, while you're working on that, I have to pull Seth Hatchell here on pit road, and third place finisher Seth Hatchell. You got a copy with us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Good to have you in here in the booth. Seth, you drove a phenomenal race. You were one of the drivers that I was looking at. It was very much on the conservation side for those first 20 or so laps, and you played it to a T. You and Cabot, and I watched you kind of get the best of them there on the second half of that run. We're just doing a phenomenal job at saving your tires and picking these guys off.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't really trying to save all that much. We got a lot of short little runs, like 20 lap runs or so to start the race, and I was trying to push it pretty hard, but these guys just able to drive it that much harder than I am. And I was really committed to the bottom there, and that seemed to pay off as the top rubbered up as the race went on. Sticking to the bottom seemed to save the right sides a bit more, didn't build as much heat and as much pressure in them, and really started rolling there after we got started on that long green run. So really happy to come out here with a third place finish, because honestly, I felt maybe like an 8th place car tonight. But once it got rolling, I knew I had a piece underneath me.
When you go to the other races where maybe not as much success, and I think you're in the same wheelhouse, if you don't mind comparing yourself to Jeff Wright, where if these races go green, you tend to do a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely need the long green runs. And it's something I've been working on, is getting better on the shorter runs, because, it's never going to go your way. You're never going to have full green races that often, right? So got to work on being better at that. Got to work on passing efficiency too. Guys like Jeff and Bailey and Josh, all of them, they pass guys so much more efficiently than I do. So that's something I got to work on, but really happy with the speed tonight overall.
It was an excellent drive. Seth, appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. We've talked to you quite a few times here in SNR and at BTDY. Is there anybody that comes to mind that put this 8 car on the podium tonight?
I want to thank you guys, doing a great job of the broadcast. Let everybody at home watch everything we do tonight. Got to thank all the sponsors that hop on board for SNR, especially M&J Distributors. Got to thank all the admins of the league, doing a great job officiating here. All the drivers putting on a great race for everybody to watch, and my team VSPEED.
I know you probably wanted to shout out Kenny Kibbe there after a couple wall touches running behind him there, trying to get around him. But, you know, Seth, it's that new aero package that we're going to hear a lot about here in these next few weeks. So hopefully you can adapt and figure this thing out. I hope everybody in this field can figure it out, and we'll see you next week at Darlington.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
There you have it. Third place finisher Seth Hatchell in the number 8. Did you get those stats, Connor?
I believe out of 16 second place finishes, I believe Joshua Banks has been second to Jeff Wright a total of 6 times to my count. So no surprise he is tired of being behind a Pepsi Zero Sugar 48 car.
Yeah. That's one of those things. And Banks with the runner-up finishes, it carried him to a championship at one point here. You know, he didn't have to go out and get a bunch of flashy wins. He just had to be consistent. And when you finish on the podium, I believe it was consecutively 9 or 10 races, we talked to him up in the top 3. There was a lot going on there, and you don't have to win every week. You just have to be better than the guy that's close to you in points, and that's what he did.
Certainly helps for sure, but you know, those wins maybe matter a little bit more. I mean, Jeff Wright with a victory, he gained about 55 points, and obviously Joshua Banks, his second place finish, he entered tonight, you know, well down in the points, and obviously he climbed up through it after a P2 finish. He went 22nd to 16th. He had 55 points coming into tonight, so he now has, I believe, 97. So it's about really a 10-point difference from winning to second place. So those wins, they do matter.
Absolutely, every week. And we run a chase format here. NASCAR even went back to it. I'm interested to see how this all factors in with 42 cars to start the race out here tonight. But coming up next week, it's time to go to South Carolina. It's the egg-shaped oval in Darlington. This one shouts America. Darlington is a narrow racetrack. It has the characteristics of a short track because you're so on top of each other every single time you go into the corner.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy race. I don't know. Seemed like some drivers are excited, but you know, knowing how tough it is to race side by side at Darlington anyways, I'm not, with the aero updates, how much tougher it's going to be side by side, I wouldn't be too excited. I'd be excited if I was the pole sitter and get away from all that, but it is going to be a tough race. You know, it's going to be a hot and slick racetrack. It's not going to be, I'd be shocked if it was a night race. And it's a perfect lead up going into Martinsville. I mean, you got Darlington and Martinsville back to back. Those are 2 of the toughest tracks on any schedule, let alone the Saturday Night Racing League schedule. So it should be a very fun test, another real fun test for the aero next week.
March 21st, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch all the action live here on VSPEED. We have plenty of other races throughout the week, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single time that we go live. For Connor Horn, my co-host, coming up here in the booth for six consecutive seasons. This guy's been up here talking and telling us the statistics. Jeff Wright and the admin team over at Saturday Night Racing League. One of our co-owners, Adam Baker, he's done a fantastic job to put this all together. Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, and of course, I'm Bradley Cooper saying so long from Las Vegas. It's time to move on to week number 5. Who's it going to be to take the next lead for the championship? Find out next week. Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. So long. Stay tracking, everybody.